Hey, welcome to the channel. Drip and Animal Farm Twitter Spaces hosted every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I promise you, you don't want to miss it. We've got a rock star cast. They are funny, entertaining, and smart, and we cover it all. Insights, latest developments, questions, and answers. We even talk through strategies, right? So anytime you see this thumbnail, you want to click on it. All right, let me show you the list of speakers from this week's Twitter Spaces. Drip to Wealth, Rock Ape, Mike Crypto Cuban, Crypto Bag Trav, Susie S. Drip, Todd Nugs, Mo Crypto 777, S Crypto 101, Gary in the house, and Drip Strategy. Anytime you see this thumbnail, alpha is being dropped. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and enjoy. Okay, let's do this. So I think I sent invitations to everybody. So we're going to go ahead and pop in because it's a little bit after 5 o'clock. All right, so looks like we've got, again, some of the same folks on the line, which is fantastic. I appreciate you guys coming back every week. Love that. And for the new folks, just a real quick introduction. My name is Kryptonite from Drip to Wealth. And every Wednesday we host a Twitter Spaces on the best project in DeFi. And that obviously is the Drip Network and the Animal Farm. And it's really a conversation of a small group of people. And we talk about the latest updates and we run through our insights and we strategize collectively as a group. But we decided to kind of open it up to a broader audience because people are having similar conversations. So this conversation is really for you guys. So at any point in time, if you've got a question or a comment, go ahead, hit the button at the bottom left, which I believe it says request to speak. That'll notify me that you have something to say and we'll let you pop on in. All right. But let's mention a couple of our speakers. So we've got Mo Crypto on the line, and we also have Drip Strategy, LD, on the line as well. And Mike, he just popped in as a listener. I may invite him as a speaker as well. All right. So, hey, Mo, LD, was there anything you guys wanted to add before we jump right into it?
Just wanted to say, give a shout out to all of the guys that are listening. Mr. Todd Nugs. I got to say
Todd is
Todd's always here.
I love that.
And Lavelle, too. I see him constantly in the Twitter spaces. So shout out to you guys. Thanks for, showing your support. S Crypto, good to see you here, buddy. I know you were on the Mega Live with us last Saturday. So shout out to you, my friend.
Yeah, and I'm about to invite both of them to speak. I don't know about Todd. Todd's 50-50. He may say no to me. Not because he's a shy person. I know Todd was in the middle of something the last time we spoke. He was like, Kryptonite? No, I've got people at my house.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, look, guys, so we've got some recent news, right? So I just remember kind of getting caught up on Telegram. Sounds like that there's going to be some type of voice chat tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, I'll be covering that on my channel. So I don't know if anyone wants to watch it with me, but I'll be doing the thing on the channel there.
No, they should. LD, let them know. Drip Strategy.
Drip Strategy. That's right, guys. So come and hang out with me. I like to cover all the VCs, guys. I also like to do the Mega Lives on Saturdays with the Mega Lottos. Those are kind of the things I like to do. And then obviously my daily videos.
Yeah, I think it's going to be actually really good if everybody tunes into your channel, just because sometimes when you're on Telegram, it just becomes super buggy and it just overheats your phone and it just crashes randomly. It's just so annoying. So if you're listening to somebody stream it, as long as LD has some good internet access, then it should be fairly good.
Always got to have some good internet.
Yeah.
Now, he did say something about latest developments or recent developments. What do you guys think he's talking about, if we were to guess?
Well, for me, it's in the Animal Farm. So I'm thinking he's made a progression on the AFP for the on-ramp, right? Because I know he was separating some AFP for the on-ramp thing. So I'm thinking he's going to give us some sort of notification on that.
Yeah, I saw that he had made a post that he. Oh, by the way, hey guys, how are you doing tonight? That he went ahead and separated 200,000 AFP.
Mike, how you doing, brother?
Doing well, my man. He separated like 200,000 AFP worth of liquidity. So I think that's got to be for the on ramp as well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking he has some kind of development as well for the auto compound dog pound. So, so he's probably going to mention something there.
For the pig pen or dog pound? You were saying pen or dog
I,
pound?
I,
Both.
I think dog pound, right? I
Because you
think
said
dog
auto
pound is what I
compounding. Were
understood.
you thinking of pig pen too?
Well, the pig pen. I mean, if it's possible that he has some information on that, then that would be cool. I
Yeah.
just don't think he's there yet. It might be
Okay.
there like in a few weeks, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was talking to some team members yesterday, and we're saying, okay, no, I'm gonna get to this after. I'm gonna keep going with the live, and then we're gonna talk later. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm also thinking the other ad is maybe some additional insight on the prepaid debit cards. You're thinking, right? So again, thinking about the on and off ramp, maybe some additional input there. That'd be pretty nice.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really
I'd like
nice.
to hear something on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he might be giving some information. He's probably still not gonna give a date, or he's probably just gonna repeat the same information he said already.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because I mean we're already December 1st, right? So like it's gonna be hard to get things organized and released before December 31st. I don't know,
Yeah.
like it's just my feeling, but we'll see.
You know what I think about in the back of my mind? So to your point, Mo, it's hard to argue, right? With so little days left in the rest of the year to kind of cram everything in on top of the holidays. So that obviously sits in the back of my mind too.
Yeah.
And then the other piece of me says, how much of this stuff is already ready? And it's really
Mm-hmm.
just a matter of being released. Do you think he's got some of this stuff already done and it's just a matter of kind of dropping it based on his schedule?
I
You know
feel
what I
like
mean?
well keeps saying on multiple AMAs that it's all ready, everything's done. It only has to be implemented, or pushed out or whatever. Especially for the like, for example, the drip UI, it's been done for months now. We still haven't seen anything, right?
Yeah.
So, in like as a gut feeling, I don't think we're gonna release anything. But at the same time, like you said, he might have maybe like 80% of it already, written down as a code,
Yeah.
and he just has to finalize some last minute things with his developers on different teams to figure out how we can push some products out one by one.
Yeah.
And I feel like also he's going to be giving some announcements on when we're going to start releasing product by product.
Yeah.
As long as we get um, some kind of like information on some kind of piece of information that shows that we're moving forward. I think is gonna keep some positive momentum in the community. That's I think what they want. They want some communication from Forex on a continuous basis.
Yeah. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that he threw in another voice chat this week.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Listen,
Well,
I mean,
he had been saying that he wants to start doing regular like AMAs
that's it.
every week, like every
That's it.
Thursday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I heard also. Like, I think we spoke about this last week. If he
Yeah.
actually does, whether it's just drip or drip animal farm, whatever it is, if he does at least once a week, if people start realizing that he's becoming as available doing AMAs once a week like he used to before the animal farm version 1 launch, then it's going to keep everybody very excited for all the new projects that are going to be released.
Yeah, I agree. And if you were to kind of translate that, perhaps we kind of stabilize at a price with the
That's
constant
right.
communication, right? Because it kind of puts a strike through that U in the FUD, like the uncertainty.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? It kind of addresses that issue, the communication, the transparency, and
Yeah.
ideally, like literally dropping additional products to build on top of, the complete execution of the whole ecosystem. So the communication obviously is key. So I appreciate that, which is probably why we saw a nice little bump in the price today. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
I
probably
think
wasn't a coincidence.
probably not.
That was a
Yeah.
strong coincidence.
If we haven't been able to tell yet, Drip and Animal Farm are very emotional. They
Yeah.
need a
Yes,
lot of
Yeah.
emotional support.
Yeah.
totally.
I think we should have like an Animal Farm AMA on Tuesday, right? Because Animal Farm's nice and steady. It seems to be just going up, especially the TVL and everything. So if we had the Animal Farm AMA every Tuesday, and then on Thursday have a drip AMA just to get everyone prepared for that weekend, right? So makes them second guess their weekend sell-offs because they're like, wait a second. I think that would be like top notch.
That's so true. And you know what? If at least he comes on, not even to give any development information, just to come on and answer some questions, that's really all people want. Just to
Yeah.
answer, because he
Yeah,
said last
just to
time he
stay
had
engaged.
hundreds. Yeah, he said
That's
he had
it.
hundreds of questions, right? Like,
Yes.
I mean, I'm guessing you can do at least a few weeks worth of AMAs to
Yeah.
keep people engaged. You know?
Yeah. But like we said, just the visibility, the transparency, and the consistent communication, that's enough for us, right? It just is.
Yeah.
It's enough for us to
That's right.
kind of, to your point, LD, keep our finger off that claim button, for a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah,
100%.
I agree. So I do like that.
I can't wait until that drip to Animal Farm, like tax free, starts getting implemented. That's just going to be so huge.
No, what is that, Mike? I want to make sure I understand it. What is it?
So he Forex stated that he is going to implement a drip to, like, for instance, you would claim drip from your faucet and you'd
Yes.
be able to send it to the animal farm as drip BUSD, a linked pair, but without giving any sell pressure,
Yes.
without implementing any sell pressure. So, I mean, I think a lot of the reason why we're at the current price that we're at right now has a lot to do with that, has a lot to do with the fact that people were moving their capital from one to the other. But then once you put it in the liberation contract, there's like built-in sell pressure there.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
also we're having a huge battle between pigs right now. I think it's like drip versus pigs because pigs are looking so juicy, and you got all
Yeah,
of
they
the
really
big
are.
YouTubers talking about them. Like, oh, sell your drip and get into pigs. I mean, they're not necessarily saying it, but when you got like CK, for example, Crypto Kings with 1,200 pigs, makes people go like, man, I got to get me a pig before Crypto Kings gets them all.
Yeah. And it's not doing you any favors because the price keeps going up, right? So there's
That's right.
constant pressure to buy now before it spikes.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, the other thing about the pigs, if we just stay there for a second, is think about the rewards. It's in cash essentially. It's a BUSD token. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not tied to a native token, so you can take your earnings and kind of exit the ecosystem. So that's attractive to other people that are not so committed like we are. So I understand why there's so strong emotion and incentive to kind of hang out in the animal farm. But I mean, what I like is I'm noticing that the APR on the Drip BUSD farm is looking pretty juicy. Yeah.
I got it.
Oh
I
yeah,
keep getting
big time.
more every day.
What's up, guys?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
That's
man.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes,
Hey,
yes.
man.
As Crypto, how you doing, brother?
Good. How's everybody?
Doing good, man.
Excellent,
Great,
man.
man.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no, definitely. I just wanted to chime in too.
Man, we've got a rock star group on here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think there's a lot of demand on pigs now too, because you have to remember that some of the sell tax from the dogs token is going to go to the pig pen. So I think as we get closer to that time period of people starting to sell their dogs, a lot of people are going to want to get in the pig pen because they're getting some of that
100%.
tax too. So
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And I would say that the drip US, it's like people are selling it to get in the drip USD farm as well. But I don't see like that the TVL and the drip USD like pool going up as much as I do with the pigs, right? I see the pigs going up constantly, but the drip USD not so much yet. And I think that might have something to do with the APR on there. But I mean, like also, it's more attractive for someone who's like max payout, right? Who's max their wallet out.
Yeah.
It's more attractive for that person to, instead of sell it, pair it and then put it in the farm,
But
right?
if you keep in mind that when we first started the animal farm on November 1st, we had about 5 million or 5.4 million liquidity in the drip BUSD farm, and now we're down to 3.1, which is why we're seeing the APR go up. I just don't understand those that have been depositing there. Why have they taken their money out?
Pigs.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, why are you not satisfied with the APR that you're generating instead of
I
selling?
think they were just expecting way more. I think they were expecting, like an 11,000 APR or something.
So we do think, yeah. So we do think people are selling drip to get into pigs. Right.
Yeah, I feel like
Okay.
you know why? You know why I'm saying that? Not only what Ali said, where people want to get pigs as soon as possible because they're seeing everybody get pigs, but also everybody has that dream of $1 per pig, right? So if right now they're seeing the dividends in BUSD given out being very, very juicy, imagine at $1, if you have 50 pigs, then you're doing $50 a day. Like, it's a lot of people's, daily amount of money they make per day, like on different countries, depending on where you live. So they are seeing that big picture, and I think they're seeing long-term vision as well. And they're seeing a lot of FUD surrounding Drip, and I think they might be waiting for it to get back some momentum, and then sell more pigs at that point, get back into Drip. It's going to be a lot of moving around.
I mean,
It's
is that
also
a bad
because the
idea?
spotlight
You know what I
is
mean?
on
Because to me,
Animal
as
Farm.
long as the dollar stays within the ecosystem, it's still a win.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I
If we
would
think
love
about it in that way. Yeah.
I would love it for it to be like, shown or displayed somewhere. Like, this person took this much to put it there, so that
Yeah.
we know, are people taking more money out, or are they putting more money in?
Yeah. I mean, clearly we're all kind of recycling the same dollars to buy different tokens within the
Yeah.
ecosystem. I mean, that's clear. I don't know how you could visualize that, but it's definitely happening.
Yeah.
Here's what I was kind of, I don't know, Gary, I think I just
Yeah,
Gary, can you hear me?
Gary had a thought.
Okay, there you go, brother.
Well, the drip, of course, is our core, is our base, and like you said, there are a whole lot of people just saying, "Oh my God, pigs! All these whales are pigs. Look at how many CK has. Look how many Stunner had. All the big guys. Yeah, they can do that. They have max faucets. They have that liquidity. They can just like easy, no problem. Here's 200 drip. I can just convert that and buy me a couple pigs. Well, as players that are the majority of us need to be taking that drip and put it into the BUSD. And you got to frame it this way. If you're taking, let's say, please, you have fresh capital. So you take your BSD and put it with your drip. That drip you've just generated. Maybe save up 3 or 4 days, pair it with BUSD. So your input into that farm is only half of the value of what the LP is. So you're really getting twice whatever it says as far as the APR, which is about 220 now. You're really getting over 400 because your capital, you've created half of it and you've injected half. Now, if you have to sell drip, if you want to run your faucet for 6 days, take 3 days, sell them another 3 days. But at any rate, us smaller players need to be doing that because that grows our position in dogs, which gets us to pigs. We have to use the ladder. We can't just be like, "Ooh, I want to be like them. Let me have 5 dogs." No, you take that $500 and either go get dogs to get to pigs or go drip BSD, support the system.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you this, Gary. So in your mind, what do you think? And it's different for everyone, but just your point of view. Do you think it makes sense to buy pigs outright, or do you think it's a better strategy to farm for pigs? I know you can do both, but if you had to choose one, what would you choose?
If I was put on the guillotine and I was
Yeah.
capable, I would just buy them.
Okay.
But that's what a
Got it.
lot of us, I mean, a great deal, probably 95% don't have the capability to spend $130 on something and get 30 cents, or even in the future, get $1. You're going to get
Yeah.
much more return from that in the farm. You just have to math
Yeah.
it out.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not,
feel
I'm
like
not,
the play right now is to just kind of leverage your drip BUSD, even though
Did
dogs
I
is
lose you, Gary?
relatively cheap. Hello?
Yeah, I think I okay.
yeah,
Okay.
there's no
Yeah, 'cause
shame on pigs. Pigs are amazing, but it really is a big boy play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that one? Like buying
Kryptonite.
pigs directly? Yeah,
What
can
are
you hear
you?
me?
I think buying pigs right now directly is good because I think the potential of pigs, the price of pigs is going to skyrocket. This is my
Yes.
opinion, right? Because
Yes.
there's, once all these injections start coming in from the dogs, from the sale of the dogs and everything, and the site starts, working properly and getting all the taxes and all the injections that it's supposed to,
Yeah.
I think like you're going to have a lot of BUSD dividends and people are going to want them, and it's going to be just the price is just going to skyrocket. And I think that the only way like normal people like us will be able to get into pigs eventually is going to be through farming.
Totally, LD. And that's my strategy as well. I'm aligned there. So I'm buying as many pigs as I can afford while it's affordable. And then once it gets out of reach, then I'm just going to farm for my pigs. And it's likely going to come through drip BUSD because of my position in the garden. I'm just going to claim a couple of days a week and just kind of farm in that way. And then
Yeah.
I've got some stables and some other exchanges, which I'll just kind of move over and start earning dogs that way to get to pigs. But yeah, that's what kind of how I'm approaching it as well, LD.
So let me ask you then, Kryptonite, what are you doing with your BUSD dividends right now?
So the ones that I'm earning in the pig pen,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm reinvesting to buy more pigs.
gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one of the things that a lot of people are doing. You know, there are a bunch of different strategies. Some people are taking it, buying more drip, which is one of the things that I had mentioned. And
yeah.
then I was thinking about, the drip BUSD, because you can use, a couple days of the BUSD dividends and get some LPs and get them in so that you can start earning dogs. I mean, like, the thing I love about the animal farm is you can literally choose whatever you want to do, and none of them are incorrect, because
I
you
agree.
Yep.
you get to the same goal. You just go buy bike, motorbike, whatever plane. You go to the same place. It's just a different way to get there.
I agree, man. Oh my God, there is no wrong answer, LD. It is
Yeah,
something for everyone. It's like Baskin Robbins, 31 flavors, man.
I was gonna say that's what I was
You
gonna
know
say.
what I
It's the
mean?
same thing.
It
It's like
just is. Oh
you see
God, how
everyone's
can you be
videos.
upset with our ecosystem? This guy's thought about everything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Just
Just
think
really
about
has.
just think about how much thought you'd have to put in to make sure that everybody that plays the game wins.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yes. And
sorry,
he's
like
thought about it all. Yeah, Rock Ape, and he's thought about it all, right?
So
yeah.
I have a slightly different strategy than what you guys are, what you guys are saying regarding the pigs or dogs.
No, you're wrong. No, you're totally wrong.
Yeah, I don't like
Wait.
his idea either.
That's the only
I'm just gonna
wrong
tell
way
you
to
right
do
now.
it.
If you
Let's
disagree with me,
mute him.
LD, you are wrong.
Oh my god, you guys are killing
I'm
Let's
me.
mute
teasing.
Mo right now.
Oh my god.
Mo, I'm kidding. We just said everyone can have a different plan and
Yeah,
it'd be totally fine.
yeah.
exactly. And I feel
Except
like
Mo.
and oh my god. I feel like in my particular situation, I can do this in a slightly different way, just because of the extra ETH and BUSD and other uh, altcoins that I have. So I'm just leveraging that because they would just otherwise be sitting in my ledger or whatever. So I'm just using that to just farm for dogs, and eventually, just as I compound more and more dogs into the auto compound pool, I'll be able to generate more and more pigs every week, and
Mm.
hopefully that's going to build my position in the long run. I feel like eventually there is going to be a sell-off. I saw a bunch of videos today, and a bunch of people said, there's going to be sell-offs, like from people like in the community. It's not going to be an immediate sell-off, but eventually, when people start selling off dogs to lower the tax, like when the tax is lower, I'm going to be able to grab some cheaper dogs. And same thing is going to happen when the price of pigs is going to go so high, people are going to take profits. Then we can buy cheaper dogs and cheaper pigs. I just
Hmm.
hope that the cheaper pigs is not going to be like 250, 300 at that point, but we'll see.
I mean,
Right.
there's
Oh,
a
I,
chance. There's
I
definitely a
disagree
chance
with you.
pigs could be
Mm.
200, 300
Ooh,
plus by
Rock
that
8.
time.
We have a debate, not an argument. We have a debate.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Yeah,
it,
yeah. There's absolutely a possibility. It could be 500. It could be 600. Like the way it's structured. I feel like there's so much potential. So it's really hard to tell right now. But like, we'll see how
oh,
it goes.
I
so
think
that's not
that
what I'm disagreeing with. I'm disagreeing that we won't see a sudden drop all at once. I think there is some people that have so much hate in their hearts that there's some groups that are going to try and do a coordinated sell-off. The question is when, and I just don't. And honestly, the nice part, I'm hoping and waiting for that. That's part of the reason why I'm collecting BUSD off to the side, is because I remember there was a coordinated buy effort for the pigs when pigs was at like $54, $56, and it jumped it all the way up to like $70 overnight. And then there was a coordinated sell off. And I remember a certain Telegram group that was like literally pushing it and trying to push that price back down in a coordinated effort. I think they're gonna do the same thing.
I
For
hope they
both
And
do
dogs
that.
and pigs, you're
I
saying,
hope
Rock
they
8?
do
Or
that.
yeah, that's what I was trying
yeah,
to
I
clarify
think
too.
for the
Okay.
dogs, I think we've already seen the type of coordination that can be done for pigs. I think
Mhm.
now it's an individual's game on that because of that 2%. We've kind of done what Forex has said is like the initial sell-offs might come in waves, and then once those people do, everybody's positions change so much, it's impossible to actually like time. So I think the first couple sells, I think it's probably every like maybe 10 or 11% that we go down from the 60 or 70%, or from the where you would have 40% tax. I think from that point on we see like a chunks sell down, and then we're going to see people start to recognize how much we make from those sells, and that will sweep through YouTube as people show off what they're earning and see the sudden spike. That's going to
Mhm.
help rebound that price.
So I guess, I think an interesting
Interesting.
question from that.
So you mean to tell me that there's waves of people that are coordinating activities to either buy or sell in DeFi that actually exist? Oh my God. I'm not surprised by that. But you know what? I don't think dogs are going to stay down that long. So to your point, we'll probably see a dip in pricing because at some point, right, everyone's going to sell once they figure out whatever vesting percent makes sense to them. They're going to get out and take profits. But to your point, I feel like there's a bunch of people sitting on the sidelines waiting to buy affordable dogs. So it shouldn't
Let me ask
stay
you
there
this
too
though,
long.
Kryptonite.
Yeah.
You have these people, right? For example, how long have they been in the system now? These people who, might be upset with Mr. Forex Shark, right? That they, held his money, they held their money for such a long amount of time, in 6 months or 8 months or whatever. This is what
Yeah.
fudders like to talk about. But let me ask you this. If you have a nice position in dogs, right, and you've been seeing nothing but the TVL on the animal farm go up and up and up, are you going to really sell those dogs out of spite, or are you going to
That's what
hold
I'm
on to them?
wondering. I'm like,
No,
how
because I'm a
powerful is
level-headed
this spite?
person. Why would I throw money away? I'm just
Yeah.
gonna stay within the ecosystem, right? And that's a way of me kind of getting back at them. I'm just gonna take money off your table, but there's no way in hell that I'm gonna sell. That sounds
People
silly
are
to me.
emotional now.
Yeah,
Like for me, I just can't even see myself selling right now, like for the foreseeable future, because I just see my gains compound just a little tiny bit each and every day. But I love the fact and the idea of being able to take profit outside of the native token. Like it's almost like a placeholder for me. I'm not even thinking about dogs or pigs being a sellable asset. I'm thinking that's the house and my rent is coming in.
yeah, because you're trying to get to the BUSD as fast as you can, basically.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
BNB.
and the
Like
BNB. Yeah,
I can see myself unpairing my dogs and BNB that is coming from the auto compounder and
yeah,
taking that BNB as profit.
yep.
That's what I can see myself doing.
I
Yeah, I mean,
gotcha.
my plan overall is to do absolutely nothing. I know that sounds really boring, but I'm just going to leave my
Oh,
dogs
that's a great plan.
alone.
Smart.
I mean, there's just no reason for me to take them out to sell. Like that thought has never even occurred to me. I just want to accumulate as many dogs as possible.
No, okay. So
Yeah.
you're saying you're not selling any of the native tokens, which I think we all agree. But what
Agreed.
about like the BUSD and BNB? What would you be doing with those
Oh,
dividends?
I mean, I'd be absolutely furthering my drip position with that. You know,
Yep.
I'd
Okay.
probably be going a little bit into drip and then a little bit into my pocket, into drip and then a little bit into my pocket, just to make sure I lock in some profits along
So Mike, you mean drip isn't going to zero?
the way. No,
Because you're
absolutely never is, bro.
okay, okay. I'm confused. All right, I'm sorry. I keep reading comments and everyone keeps saying the shit's going to zero. So I just
Man,
want to double check because you're throwing money in there. So I just want to make sure you were good and you knew what the hell you
I
were
mean,
doing. Okay.
the way that I am personally viewing everything is I always think about this kind of like this metaphor that my grandfather just told me like a long time ago that I've just never forgotten. So I'm Cuban, you know, that's where my family is from. And in Cuba, my grandparents were very big into growing sugarcane, which is like the number one export there in Cuba. And sugarcane is very similar to bamboo in a lot of ways. And my bamboo would also, my grandfather would also grow bamboo next to his sugarcane. And he told me that once you lay the seeds of bamboo in the dirt and you kind of let them germinate, kind of let them do their thing. It takes between 2 to 3 years for even the first green leaf to stick out of the dirt after you grow that bamboo. So you
Mm-hmm.
didn't know, if you weren't aware of this, you would want to throw your seeds in, check them in a month or two, and say, "Oh, there's nothing growing out of the dirt. It must be dead. This must be a dud." In
Yeah.
reality, all of the magic is happening underneath the dirt. It's laying this foundation to be able to support this massive, bamboo shoot that grow 25, 30 feet up in the air. So right now, what I feel is happening between Drip and Animal Farm is the roots are grown under the ground. You know, they
Yeah.
can't be appreciated from above the ground yet. Everybody's looking from the outside in saying, "Oh, Drip's $1.50. This thing's going to zero." But what they don't realize is the roots are just starting to take shape right now. The foundation is being laid right now for an Animal
Yes.
Farm to just like shoot to the moon.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
100%.
agree.
And
Absolutely.
you know why I like that analogy so much? That's actually a great story. The way I see it is right now the drip network, the pigs token, the dogs tokens, the farm, the pools, everything has been working flawlessly, right? We've all been getting money. We've all been generating our APRs according to whatever pools we have. So there's absolutely no reason to be worried about the prices because no matter what the price is, it's going to come back up, right? The price is going to appreciate again just because the system is working so well, and there's no reason to fear that there's going to be a rug or there's a wrong mechanic or something is not written properly in the code. So for me is right now, just like you said, it's an accumulation game, and you just get as many as you can of all the tokens to make sure that whenever we go back up, then you're set and you're going to be like basically a whale at that point.
Mm,
Yeah, and I just want
mm.
to add something on that too. I get a lot of messages being like, "Man, I wish Drip would go back up to $20 so I could retire," or "Man, I wish Drip would go to $100 so I can stop working." I think that people should change their thought process to be like, "Man, I don't care even if Drip stays at a buck. I
Mm-hmm.
still will make $100 a day from Drip, and on top of that, I will also make $100 in BUSD from my pig pan, and I will also make $100 a day from my dogs in the dog pound. That way, you have completely changed your thinking process to a long-term process rather than a short-term process, right?
Love
You
it.
don't want to come into a crypto project and think, man, if this coin goes to $100, I can retire in 2 weeks. You want to set yourself. You want to do like Mr. Mike said. You want to get your foundation in the ground so that even if the price stays the same or goes a little bit lower, you don't care because you have
No.
multiple things paying you $100 a day. Because I'm sorry, man, who cannot live comfortably off of $300 a day passive income?
Boom.
100%. I love that so much. And
LD, you forgot the boom.
Boom.
God damn it.
There you go.
the name of the game is sustainability, right? So if you're giving out thousands and thousands per person a day,
Yes.
eventually it becomes unsustainable. But if you can manage to get $100 per project per day, then sustainability is definitely there. And I feel like it's going to be adding many many years to the projects overall.
Totally. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to LD's point. I think we all got into this at some point, just when we first started, and we realized the power of drip. And this was before we all kind of dug in and did our own research. What do you typically do? You typically go to Telegram, Twitter, or you watch a number of YouTube videos and you listen to these influencers, and they kind of tell you where they think the price of drip is going to go. So you jump onto that momentum and say, "Oh my God, I can't wait to drip moons." And then when it doesn't happen, obviously there's some type of emotional response that takes place. But here's what I ask people to do. And I just did a video on this one maybe 2 days ago. And there's a chance for people to win an airdrop if you leave a comment with this response. So, LD, back to, do we need drip to get to $50 or $100 per drip token? The answer is absolutely not. Like, would we want it to get back to $50 to $100? Of course we would, right? Because we would all be literally swimming in money. We can fill a swimming pool with $100 bills and be set for life, but we don't need that. So here's what I've been asking people to do. Like, understand what your average cost per drip is, right? Take whatever your total investment was up until this point. If it's $10,000, and let's just keep the math simple. If it's $10,000 and you currently have 1,000 drip, then your average cost is $10. So anything at $10 and higher, you're doing fine. But what I'm finding, guys, everyone's average cost is right around $5. That's it. So we just really need drip to kind of get to $5 and kind of trade within that range, and everyone would be happy financially. We don't need it to get to 20 anymore, right? We really don't. If it happens to do that over time, because of all the utility that we have, and then we get the benefits of the animal farm and other people kind of getting into the ecosystem, and now they become much more aware of drip, and drip is much more affordable, then we can see like price appreciation. We just need a floor, and I bet you it's somewhere between $5 and $10 a drip. I bet you that's where it's at.
Yeah, because you got to think about it like this, right? We like together, like our group in specific, and I know a lot of other groups as well. We talk about doing the things the proper way. When I say the proper way, I mean taking the drip and pairing it with BUSD and putting in the farm. So over time, as more and more people continue to do that, they're just adding to the liquidity pool, and essentially they're going to raise the price of drip because they're taking drip out of circulation. So by doing that, if everyone follows suit, the price of drip will go up. It's just a matter of time,
Yeah,
because people are going to be wanting to take that drip pairing with BUSD, and especially once he implements this thing where you're going to be able to auto claim your available, and it goes right into drip BUSD LP, and you can put that right into the farm. Everyone is going to be wanting to do that, you know, and it's
totally.
going to be paying out in dogs, and the more people that are doing that, it's just going to raise the price of drip.
Totally. And the APR is still going up, right? I mean, it's over 200%. What's to say it doesn't get over 300%? Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
why
but give
this is perfect timing to get in. You can
Yeah.
get
yeah.
many, many more dogs than you would have, a couple weeks ago.
When I first got into that farm, the APR was only like 100, and then as it's been going on, it's just been going up and up and up, and now I'm making like double what I was making initially in the farm. I'm super happy with that drip USD farm.
And who
Yeah,
said, and who told us to get into the drip BUSD farm? Who was that smart guy that told us to do that? And we did not see, think about what I'm saying. And we did not see the vision. Like, we were all so short sighted. I'm obviously paraphrasing, right? Generalizing. We were all so short sighted, like, oh my God, that's only like 100% APR. Think about what I just said. Only 100% APR. We're
Yeah,
tripping
we're
already.
spoiled.
But
We're
still, 100% APR, and people were not interested at all. And now it's going up to 200%. And what's to say it's not going to go to 300%? Forex Shark predicted that. So that's who's driving the bus. You guys just need to get in and put your seatbelts on.
but
That's
you
it.
want to know why it's not something like delicious and scrumptious for a lot of people, because people who, for example, don't have a max wallet, right, or maxed, yeah, max faucet, they're thinking like this. Okay, so I got 1,000 drip or whatever. If I can keep it here in the faucet, I can make 365% a year, right, or 3,600% a year if I compound it, right. So that's way higher. But when it comes to having a max wallet, well, it makes way more sense for you to take that drip and put it into the drip USD farm, because then you're not having to sell a single asset. So I think that drip USD farm is amazing, but I think it's more targeted to those who are really, really, like, have a big faucet, and instead of selling, they can put it there. So I think that as time goes by, more and more people are going to be getting bigger faucets, and they're going to be putting it in there. So this is my vision, because like I said, 3,600% a year from your faucet is pretty delicious, right?
No, and I agree with that too, LD. And I'm going to overlay something. So that you cannot dispute. And here's the other thing that people maybe want to consider why the drip BUSD farm is also attractive. I don't know how many people are literally just hyper compounding to a max wallet. I'm wondering if people have some type of hydration and claim strategy, right? So if they do something like a 5 and 2, then what are you doing with those 2 days where you claim? Are you cashing out and converting it all the way to fiat? Or are you taking it out and just kind of having it sit in your wallet, kind of waiting for drip to moon? So if that's the case, then you can still do that. But now we're saying don't hold it in your wallet, hold it in the farm. Because then you can kind of unpair it and then sell the drip. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, we are getting into it today.
Yeah. But
I
either
love
way you
these
look at it,
discussions,
though,
man.
I don't think a 5 and 2 or a 6 and 1 is the best strategy to do it, because if you put it on paper and you do a 26 and 4 strategy, at the end of the month, you're going to walk away with, or like option 1, way more drip, or option 2, way more BUSD value.
But we got some background noise. Mike, is that you?
I think it's coming through Mike's speaker.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? So if you have a 26 and 4, you know that at the end of the month, right, you're going to be compounding way more than you would at the beginning of the month. So if you have a 26 and 4 strategy where you compound for 26 days and then for 4 you claim, if you use that, you're going to walk away with more BUSD or more drip, right? If you walk away with more drip, obviously you're going to walk away with more BUSD. But I think it's much better for you to do that rather than a 6 and 1.
So what are you doing with the 4 days that you claim? What are you doing with that
you
drip?
don't touch it. You wait 4 days and then you claim it all, because if you put it on paper, right, you'll actually have more drip to be able to claim after those 4 days than you would if you were to do it as 6 and 1, right? Because you do your 6, then you claim 1, then you do 6 and you claim 1. If you do a 26 and 4, you'll have way more drip to claim at the end. And I think it's like I don't remember exactly, but I think like at the end of the month or something, you have like an extra 10 drip to, depending on the amount of obviously drip that you have in your faucet, but it works out to have like a lot more drip for you to be able to claim it in your last 4 months. So that's what I do. That's what my plan
LD,
is.
let me ask you this. Maybe I wasn't clear. So the 4 days during the month that you actually claim, are you literally removing drip from the faucet? And if yes, then what are you doing with that drip?
Yeah, so no, this is a thing. For example, if somebody wants to take, like, I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it yet, but I've done all the math on it, and this is why I talk about it, and I did a video on it. If you wanted to claim, for example, or if you want to take some drip and put it into the farm, the best way for you to do that, the best strategy is to do a 26 and 4, because you'll walk away with way more drip at the end. If you, for example, hydrate from the 1st till the 26th of the month, and then from the 27th to the 30th, you do nothing, and then you claim, then you'll have way more drip that you can choose what to do with it. If you want to take it and claim it and put it into your BUSD, you'll have more BUSD value. If you want to put it into the farm, you'll have more BUSD value in the farm as well.
So you're saying to let it build up over those 26 days as opposed to claiming at the end of the week?
Yes, exactly. So if you hydrate for 6 days and then claim 1, right? All you have to do is just do a simple spreadsheet and do for whatever you want. Just do the simple spreadsheet, and then you can watch it on the spreadsheet. And I actually did a video on it. It's on my channel. I think it's called like best hydrate to claim ratio. And I show you right there is, if you just hydrate for 26 days and then claim the last 4, you walk away with, I think I did like you walk away with another extra 10 drip or something like that.
That's massive.
Thing.
In a month?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
LD, does this strategy work in the garden, in the piggy bank, and all the other places as well, or just in the faucet?
No, so this is just the faucet strategy that I have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you probably don't have decay you're dealing with, obviously, in the garden.
Yeah, decay in the garden makes everything a lot more difficult. So the only place that this one is would work is, like I said, in the faucet.
Okay.
Got it. I love it. No, that works for me. Okay, that's cool. So let me do this really quick before we move on. So we have quite a few listeners. All right, for the listeners, did anyone want to chime in? Did you have a comment or a question? We'll just kind of pause for a few seconds just to let someone kind of pop in if they wanted to. If not, we'll just move
to
the next point. Man, I want to get Todd Butt on there too. I want to get West on there too. I want to get West Side and one to speak up. Who else is on here?
You know Gary will talk. Don't
Gary, Gary, go ahead and do you, brother. Go ahead and do you.
LD is absolutely correct. You should let it run, and whatever days, say you're a 5-2, don't do that. Do a 20-8, or do a
Mm,
21-7. You want
mm-hmm.
to keep that compounding rolling, because if you interfere with it, then you're compounding less the next week.
Mm.
So if you let it run 5 days and you get up to 500, you get 10 over the weekend. But if you let it run 10 days, it's that little bit more. He's
Got it.
right.
Oh,
That's the only way to do it. And
Yeah,
also
that
on
makes sense.
hydrating, I only hydrate 2 times a week ever since it was about $5 or $6, because that extra gas fee, especially now, just buy 2 drip and don't hydrate the other 5 days. That's the same
Ooh,
cost of
that's
two
a
drip.
alpha bomb. Hold on, let me see
Yeah,
if I
that's
can
giving
make
the
a noise.
faucet
Hold on.
That's a big difference.
Hold on, let me see if I can get some sound effects. Did you hear
What
that?
Oh
size is your
Lord.
faucet, Gary?
Can you guys see the applause in the background?
Yeah,
Yo,
I've been doing that forever. There's no reason. I mean, you're paying 40 to 50 cent per hydrate. That's only basically 3 days. So just every 3.5 days I hydrate, but I'm also adding 2 drip. And that
mm,
far outweighs, unless you're getting into the many thousands, how many you're gonna compound, at 1% of that compound rate. If you have, say, 1,000, you get 10 a day, but what's 1% of 10?
yeah.
It's infinitesimal. But if you add 2 whole drip, you're really growing it fantastically, and you're not spending any more. You're just using the gas fees that you otherwise would have used.
Got it. Now let me
And
ask
if
you
you,
this, Gary, because it is all about context as well too. Are you open to kind of sharing what your deposit balance is? Because does that make a difference? Like if you're over 100 drip, if you're over 1,000 drip, if you're over 2,000 drip, like that makes sense for you to do it that way, or
yeah, I
does
mean,
it?
I've got 13 wallets, so
Oh,
that's a
only
big reason why.
13? Okay,
Yeah,
only 13.
I look for alternatives. Well, I look for good people, big teams, people who do participation things, people who do big airdrops. You've probably seen the videos.
Yes.
I've been fortunate with those.
Yeah.
Migration airdrops, quote unquote, or Jamie Soriano's airdrops, which are legendary.
Got it.
So I take most advantage there, but I'm also looking to save. I don't want to spend, $8 or $9 a day on gas fees. And cumulatively, I have about like 310 in each wallet. So
Mm-hmm.
really, for a long time, it's going to make sense to do that until we start seeing 8, 9, $10 drip where it makes sense. Okay, when I'm compounding, because you're getting drip, yes, when you compound, but what's it worth?
Yeah. No,
What's
that's good.
1% of one drip?
Yeah, I love that. No, that's really good. That's good, Alpha. Yeah, and we're gonna try that one more time. I'm gonna hit you with this one right here. Yeah, I love that. That was perfect. All right, that is perfect. Okay, got it. Yeah, so that's new. I hadn't even thought about it that way, LD. So I must have missed that video. I'll go back and take a peek at it. But clearly, it sounds like that Gary co-signs on it, so it's clearly a good idea. And then I like the fact that whatever you quantify in terms of what you're saving in gas, that you use that to then buy additional drip.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
dope.
I'm
Yeah.
interested in knowing the exact math on that because now I hit 2K. I
Yeah.
gotta see if that would still benefit me
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
I
So
would, I would,
I mean,
if I
buying
was,
drip right now is going to benefit anybody, no matter what
Well,
wallet size.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's my little PSA right there.
Oh God. Hold on. Let's see here. Someone else is trying to talk. Who is that? Crypto Bag Travis. You can go ahead and try to request it one more time. I'm not sure. I saw your request. If you still want to speak,
Todd Nugs, get in
go ahead
here,
and do
bro.
it.
What's going on, man?
I agree. I don't know. Do they have laryngitis or something, or are they
I don't know,
okay?
but I just want to hear Todd Nugs say Todd Nugs.
Todd's a good guy. All right, what else we got going on here?
Tom, get your ass up on the mic. Gary said so.
There. Okay, so here's Crypto Bag. Let me see if I can get him in here really quick
What do you
here.
guys think is going to be the new airdropping system that Forex has kind of been hinting about?
Okay, Crypto Bag, are you there?
Yeah.
How you doing, sir?
All right. I was just
Good.
coming to ask, what's the good? What when when should you start a new wallet?
That's a good question. Hey, Gary, you want to answer that one since you've got 13?
All
Is
right.
Gary still there?
All right.
Hold on one sec. Let me see if I can get Gary to answer that one for you. Gary, you still there?
I think Gary might be in the bathroom.
Yeah, I think he's
so
right.
too.
Okay,
I mean,
who's got?
if
I've got a point
would,
of view, but yeah, somebody else though.
yeah, I was gonna say if I would say something to answer that, I would say, depending on what makes sense for you, how much you DCA, right? If your DCA and if your DCA amount is like $20 or something a month, obviously it makes more sense for you to open up more wallets earlier. But if you're because obviously if you have like 1,000 drip in your account, well, $20 isn't going to make a huge difference on your main account. But if you're if you got smaller accounts, might make sense. So that's kind of the way I look at it. But for me, I go to max payout and then I start opening other wallets. But I know people are different than me, and I know Mo's different than me, Kryptonite's different than me. But so
Mm-hmm.
I always say it's relative to how much you DCA and what makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Me too. I have a different strategy, basically every other month. But when I first got in, for example, I wanted to get to max payout before opening any other wallet, because once you get to your max payout, that's when you could, take your creativity and deposit some over here, some over there, take some profit. So in my mind, it just made sense. Finish one faucet, get to your max payout as soon as possible, before you get to have the luxury to open a second wallet. But then over the months, I figured out that it might not really be the best strategy for me particularly. I think that if we were at a higher price of drip, I would have said maybe um, like wait until you hit whatever, like 5,000 to 6,000 before you could start another wallet, just because it makes more sense. So for you to claim, let's say, if you would do the strategy that LD had, where you would claim towards the end of the month, you take that, you airdrop it to your other wallet, and then you could start right away. But right now, with the price of drip where it is right now, you could, like, depending on your position, you could save up for like a month, for example, and then you could just do a big buy for a new wallet. Um, but it also depends on how much you have in your first wallet. So I think a minimum, like based off of all the different people that I've spoken to, a minimum of 2,000 in the first wallet before you can even start a second wallet. It just makes more sense because you at least are making 20 drip per day. Otherwise, it won't make sense to me to start a second wallet. Just try to max out your first one as soon as you can, because that's where the magic happens and you start getting passive income on a daily basis. That's
Mm-hmm.
substantial enough for you to diversify in other parts of the ecosystem and different wallets.
I like 2K too, or 2.4K.
Yeah. And what's
Yeah.
the secret sauce behind the 2.4K LD?
One drip an hour.
Hey, we gotta love it.
That's the life.
Hey, let's do this because we've got like two new speakers. One we were screaming at, and he finally made it on, and then we've got a guest appearance. So we've got Todd. Come on, Todd, and then Susie S.
Hey.
Susie, hold the line. We're gonna let Todd have something to say really quick. Todd, welcome, my friend.
What's going on, Todd?
How's it?
It is fantastic
Doing
now
good,
that you've
man.
made it on, my friend.
All right, right. Well, see, my thought here was the same as Gary's kind of, but for me, my circumstances are different. I'm not trying to get out of a job anymore. I'm actually retired and I'm fully disabled. So for me, this is just for my family. For me, um, I'm only 52, but I'm like a 70-year-old right now. So for me, trying to build and see, my goal is 15 wallets for me, 15 wallets for my wife. Right now, I have,
15. Wow.
yeah. The reason
Okay.
why is I have seed wallets, and then I want to put each wallet for each investment into the farm for me. So one wallet per dogs, one, the auto compounding, the linear
Okay.
stuff
Okay.
like. So right now with the dogs and stuff, I only have 40. So I had that in the auto. I'm not really building for the pigs at this moment. Dog.
Mm-hmm.
I will go into the garden and stuff. It's just getting out of the military isn't as easy as everybody thinks. So, I mean, they haul your ass around everywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I've been out for a while, and still they still up your ass for everything. So, I mean, for me, I follow all you guys because you know I like to learn everything. Plus, I've got a bad brain damage, so I gotta always keep my mind going. Plus,
Right on.
I only sleep a couple of hours a week, so I
A
mean,
week?
yeah,
Oh my
without
goodness.
meals. So, I mean, for me, my brain just keeps going. So, I also mine Cadena and Litecoin. So, I steal the Litecoin and put it into the drip and everything else for myself. And
Got
then
it.
for my kids, I built them each 2 wallets, and my grandchildren each 3 wallets. So,
Sweet. So let
I
me
just
ask you this, Todd, really quick. For the 15
go ahead.
wallets,
Yep.
is there a minimum amount that you start the wallets with, or is
I,
it just random how you approached it?
I usually, well, with my kids, I stuck 3,000 a
Okay,
piece.
got it. Only 3,000? Are you
Yeah.
adopting any kids at all? I just want to make sure.
Well, I had a I had a free signing bonus that I hoarded for
Yeah.
the last 6 years. So I kind of aped in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, July. I'm a degen. I also I'm in some other farms as well, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to get out of everything else to put into the animal farm, and I've been selling off my shit coins and my pump and dumps, and I put them all into the drip. So I'm trying not to use any of my own money. I'm just trying to use each ecosystem to fill this ecosystem. And then once I'm out of all of them, I'm straight into the animal farm and drip. And I mean, this is the best one that I've found. And I mean, I wasn't even looking for it at the time. I was a node guy too, and a miner. So um, yeah, this is the best. I don't even have.
Excellent.
It's easy. So
Now,
Excellent, man.
let
Todd,
let
well,
me
it's
ask
good
you
to
this,
meet you, my friend.
thank you.
before you end that conversation, what made you choose or just figure out essentially that the animal farm is better than or the other farms that you're in? Was there a specific characteristic, or is it just because it's part of the drip network and part of forex projects? Like, how did you go about deciding that?
Well, it's the first time I heard Forex, kind of geeked me out a little bit because I was pretty stoned at the time. So, um, and I was watching the Driptopian at the time, and I was like, man, I got to get into this shit because this stuff is kind of wild. So
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
did that, and I started joining everybody's teams, and I have wallets on pretty much probably all of you guys' teams. Um, I just don't. I don't show my shit. To me, I'm a solo kind of a guy. I've always been that way, except for in the military. And well, I'm a kind of a shy kind of a guy. So
Mm-hmm.
and I can't do a YouTube. So if I do that, I lose everything that I worked for. So I'm not gonna do until I make a couple more millions. Then well, everybody can just kiss my ass.
That's that FU money. I got you. That's wonderful.
Todd, I just want to take a second to say like thank you for your what you do for the community. I see your comments are always there. I know you're in my group, and I see you commenting on a lot of the other YouTubers as well. So I want to thank you for the time that you spend every day. Just showing your love to the community, man. I really appreciate it, and I know a lot of the other YouTubers appreciate it as well. So big shout out to you. That's why I always give you the big Todd nugs every
Right.
time I see you.
Well, I do have to. I have to do a big shout out to the gardener because he was the first one that I joined, and he was very helpful. I was such a noob too because like I aped in. I'm pretty decent, but I aped in, and most people they would go, oh, a fucking whale or whatever. Well, I don't
Yeah.
even look at that status. I'm not trying to get a whale status. I'm just trying to do the best for my family at this moment, because I've been doing that since I've been 18 years old. I've got 6 kids. I have 7 grandchildren, been married twice. Oh, talk about
Todd Nooks.
Todd, I'm so gled you made it on, brother. Seriously, we are happy to have you, brother. And then the
I'm
fact
here.
that you were able to open up to us and share not only your financial success, but your life experience. So we appreciate you and everything you do for the country, man. That is overwhelming. So I appreciate everything.
Well, I'm just hoping that like by next year, I'm going to be the one when we're on here going, hey, here's 100. Let's just throw 100 out here. And then when I'm on all the other ones, I'm going to be willing to give out 2,500. I just want to build up big enough so that I can give out back out to the community.
Right
So
on, Todd. I appreciate it,
Thank
my
you,
friend.
Sal. Thank you so much.
Hey, and then we have Susie S. Drip.
That's
How
Susie
are you?
G. Hey, guys.
Yes. How are you?
Hey, Susie.
Hey, how are you
What's
guys?
up?
How you doing?
Oh, first of all, thank you for all the love you give me all the time.
Right on. You deserve it. You're
Oh,
such a special person.
thank you so
Susie
much.
G in the house.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm Susie G now.
That sounds like you got a little swag. I love that. That's super
Yeah.
cool.
Somebody in there
Hmm.
changed my name. I don't know who.
Because it's Susie Garden. Well, as
Yeah.
soon as she told me how many gardens she had, I said, no, it's not Susie S anymore. It's got to be Susie G now.
Now remind everyone, how many gardens is it? Is it over like 5? Is it a crazy number?
I think it's
Yeah,
13?
it's 8.
8.
Wow.
Wow. Mm.
Yeah.
Now,
But
Susie, how long have you been in the ecosystem for some people who don't know who you are?
since February.
Yeah. So not a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plants were $5 each.
I got in the same time, Susie.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I remember that.
oh
I
yeah.
got in also like around that time. Like I got in like mid January. Man, was it so different back then? It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. And it took like hours to make
I
a
know.
plan for me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I request to talk because first of all I miss you guys. maybe
Hey.
Hey, we
maybe
miss you too.
I go to LD. I make a live again whenever you invite me.
Sounds
I'll,
good.
I'll,
LD, how in the hell are you not inviting her?
I know.
I'll be so
That's like
happy.
I have a huge list of people that are going to be coming on.
No,
I'm like
but
trying to
no
wait for a
rushing.
break.
No rushing. I just missed you guys. That's all. And I love you guys. But I wanted to jump in because you were talking about having lots of wallets, and what LD was talking about his strategy. And you know, I have kind of the same strategy in the garden, but in the big one, because you cannot do if that with success, especially for the decay in the garden.
Yeah.
I have 8 wallets, but I have one big one, and the other 7 they're very little in a way. They are 500 in one and 100 in 6 ones. So that's
Mm-hmm.
they're very little. The 7 ones that they're very little, but especially now, but they're growing. They're growing. They're
Yeah.
growing. They're growing. And but the bigger one is today is 16 million.
60 or 16? How many? 60 or 16 million?
16.
16 million.
Beautiful.
16
Wow.
million. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is
Thank you so much.
awesome. How
And
many LPs do you know? How many that is each day? The LPs that you're.
5 LP.
Okay. Got it.
But what I found out is 2 things. I was watching a video that Matt Investor did, and with Scott Investor,
Mm-hmm.
and they said they told about if you have a certain amount of plants, you know, you take them out, you harvest them, not compounding, you harvest them, and you put them back at the same, you take it out and you put it back. You increase the amount of plants with even only doing that. So
Mm-hmm.
after I found that I didn't know that that was a mechanism for people who are entering in any time. They have more plans for the LP. So after that, I started with like I do like I don't know, I like $10. When the plants reach $10, I take them out.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, like in this morning, I did that. So I have like $10. I don't know how what much they were. It was like 200 plants, 200,000 plants, and instantly I earned 22,000 plants
Yep.
because I harvest them.
Mm-hmm.
Then I waited for 5 hours, have another 200,000 plants. I harvest them, put $10 of my money DCA in, and I got a million plants, and I put
Yes.
them back.
Yes.
So in that way, I don't DCA every time, and I don't. Now I'm waiting for 1 hour more. I'm going to compound. So my base is up. So this way I'm doing these different things and always earning plants because in the meantime I'm waiting and the first harvest 100,000 plants are out. They are gaining plants out of the garden, and the garden is still making plants.
Yep.
So I'm gaining in both parts. And sometimes, like in these days that I want to reach to 20 million plants, uh, I'm doing this so because if I only compound, the decay is very big some days. But
Yeah.
in this way, I see that like today, I have to wait for what I gain in a day. It's like 500,000 plants a day. I should have to wait 2 days for 1 million. But today I did that in a couple of hours. I put 1 million, and this is like I'm beating the decay in a
Yeah.
way. I don't
And
know if you think I'm wrong. Please, I'm here to learn.
no, I honestly I think it makes sense because that's kind of what I've been doing as well. Because if you're just constantly compounding, there's no way, and I repeat,
Mm,
there's no way you're going to outperform the
the
decay
decay. Yeah.
because the contract balance is dropping at a rapid pace. So the only way that I thought about approaching beating decay, it's really like maybe two or three prong. One is the way that you explained it. So I actually claim 2 days a week, and they're
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of the week. I typically don't claim on the weekend because that's when everybody does it. So I
Mm-hmm.
claim on maybe a Tuesday and a Thursday as an example. So
Mm-hmm.
on that first claim day, whatever LPs I've earned, I literally take out the drip and
Yeah.
deposit it into the faucet. And then
Mm-hmm.
the BUSD that I have, I actually buy more plants, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to where you started. When you first got into the garden, you said you purchased plants at $5,
Yeah.
right? Now they're like, 1,000th of a penny or something like that.
Yeah.
So by you reinvesting your BUSD, you're gaining so many more plants at such a low price that
Yeah.
two things happen, right? So your average cost per plant goes way down, and then
Yeah.
your percent of the total contract balance should go up, right? And then your
Yeah.
LP production is going to go up over time. So what people need to really focus on by you reinvesting your BUSD back into the garden, you're actually increasing your LP production, or worst
Mm-hmm.
case scenario, kind of stabilizing your LP
Yeah.
production
Yeah.
because you're buying so many plants at a very cheap price. So I
Exactly.
support that. And then the
Mm-hmm.
other piece of it is, you know, sometimes decay is just super brutal. It's like over 4% per day sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, look, if I can't, you know, gain more than 4% per day, what else can I do not to lose any money? So the second day, so like on a Thursday, same thing. I'll split the LP and I'll deposit my drip into the faucet. And then the BUSD, I go over to the farm and I buy
Mm.
pigs.
Yeah.
And I buy
Yeah.
pigs.
Yeah. They.
So there's multiple ways you gotta approach the
Yeah.
decay. And I still believe in the garden only because of this major variable. It's tied
Yeah.
to drip. There's a direct correlation to drip. So if we
Yeah.
all believe that drip is going to be around and it's not going to go to zero, then neither is the garden. Right?
No, of course. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I know everybody says drip faucet is the foundation, and you have to have a strong foundation in there. But you know, I started in the garden, and then with the LPs that I get, like you said, I split it and buy plant and bought plants and put it in the faucet. So my faucet is very little. I have 200 plants and not not even 300 plants. Sorry, drip in the faucet. Uh, but I still believe in the garden because in the long run, um, now I'm almost 20 million plants. If I if I don't compound for or make this strategy for like 2 3 days or I don't know 5 days I don't, mostly I can get like $300
Mm,
just waiting.
that's a lot of money. Mm.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, in
And
5 days. Yeah.
if I have to, I don't have a big bag.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a person with money. I'm using my how do you say my savings to invest in this because I believe in this and I believe in forex and I believe that the garden is going as trip is going to go up. But I want to know if you think the same in this regard. Uh, that if now that I'm going to have a very big garden that is going to give me so much triple P, uh, the thing that I don't have a big faucet doesn't mind in that sense because in my case that I only if I'm talking about the big one, not the little ones. The big one is giving me so much LPs, and you have two things that if you invest or if you do some these strategies, you have two options. You do it for your DCAing or doing these strategies to
Mm-hmm.
save time and have more plans,
Yep.
less plans, or you compound, you have more plans, but it's taking more time.
Yeah.
You have these two options. But in my case, now that I'm going to have a big garden, and now I'm ending, uh, the I'm going to be able to take like I don't know 50 or $100 a day
Mm.
in LPs,
Mm.
and then I'm going to make a distribution to the faucet. To I have three pigs, but
Yeah.
I had a little dogs, a little pigs, but I'm going to distribute to the whole ecosystem. So, what do you think about my strategy?
No, I think it
And thank you,
works. Yeah, honestly,
thank you.
yeah, I think it works. So it seems like you're heavy into the garden versus the faucet right now. That's kind of what I heard initially,
Yeah,
right?
because
Okay.
I don't have a big bag and it's high risk, but hard reward
Mm-hmm.
for me. Because I didn't have much money for, I had to choose 1% or 3%. It wasn't very.
No, and I think if it was that straightforward and we all realized that it is not, because when we first heard about it, it was simply like an absolute comparison where you were
Yeah,
saying, hey, in the faucet, I'm only earning 1% per day.
yeah,
And then in the garden, it's 3.33%. That's a no brainer.
yeah.
But then they drop the nuggets on you and they say, well, hey, there's this gamification involved
Mhm.
and this other thing called plant decay. So, a couple
Yeah.
things you need to do. You need to compound your butt off and you need to DCA as well,
Mhm.
just to keep up, right? And just given those two options, it seems like the faucet is a bit more stable
Yes.
and predictable, right?
Yeah.
Compared to the garden. However, if the contract balance increases and the price of drip increases, then
Mhm.
everything that you said leading up to this moment in time, it's a good bet, right? Because all this time you've been accumulating all of those LPs. So the minute that the drip price goes up and that contract balance goes up, you're going to see 3 times, 10 times what you're earning today. Because we saw it,
Yeah.
right? When we saw the contract balance go from the low fours to over 500,000 plus, how much were you earning per day then? It had to be like close to $300 at the time.
No, because I didn't have a lot of plans. The most I got was like 30, $40, but I always compounded.
Okay.
Um, Now I'm reaching more, but I DCA a lot.
So I'm gonna give you one of my examples. So today, because of where we're at with the drip price and everyone kind of coming out of the garden with their LPs and then going over to the animal farm, I'm
Mhm.
making roughly $90 per
Mhm.
day. Okay.
Mhm.
And when the contract balance was over 500,000, I was making over $300 a day. So that's
Yeah.
like a 4x multiple. So what I'm saying, it is
Yeah.
a high risk, high return
High reward.
product,
Yeah.
right? So it seems like you've kind of hedged your bet on that aspect of it, high risk, high return. And if somebody was maybe a little more conservative in their approach and didn't want to compound multiple times during the day, didn't want to worry about reinvesting all the time to keep up with decay, and they wanted to be maybe more hands off and be able to predict what they're earning every day, seems like the
Yeah.
faucet would be a safer play. Yeah, in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Right. Um, but
Like,
for
I
me
mean,
now is
what?
is it's like an ATM, the drip garden, because it's big and it's getting like, now with the decay and all, I am reaching like $25 to $30 a day,
Yeah.
and in Argentina it's a lot of money.
Good. So regardless, you're
Uh,
still doing pretty well despite
yeah,
the
yeah,
circumstances. Yeah, that's good.
yeah, and now I reach 20. When I reach 20 to 25 million plants, I'm going to start compounding, but harvesting from the faucet, or like I'm going to dedicate more of the LPs for the other places. Now it's like my own piggy bank.
Fire your bank. We don't need banks anymore. You got the animal farm. Yeah, that
Yeah.
should be a YouTube idea. Mo, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say when I first got into the drip network, all the people that I spoke to were always telling me go to the faucet first, just because, just like you said, it's a safer play. It's 1%. It's more guaranteed than 3% per day. And when you're somebody who's putting $1,000 hoping to get 3,000 by the end of the month, but then you're ending up with almost less money than what you came in with, it just doesn't become as appetizing to get into it. So Susie, you had a big strategy, and you know exactly how to do it. So it might be a safe play for you, but for somebody who is not familiar with DeFi and crypto and all these kind of different passive plays, it might be a very complex system, especially take into consideration the price of drip, the LP price, and the plan decay. It becomes too complicated for most people, which is why most people tend to end up going to the faucet first.
Yeah. Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you very much.
Susie, thanks for
Well,
speaking up and making the
no,
Twitter Spaces. The
thank
party
you. Thank you
officially
for having
started
me.
when you arrived. Of course, of course. All right, good, good,
Oh,
good.
thank you very much. Thank you. I love you guys. Thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
really enjoy.
We love you too.
This
Love
is
you.
good.
I
Right
love you.
on.
Bye.
Okay.
Take care, Susie.
Take care, Susie.
Yeah,
All right,
you.
guys.
Thank
So
you. Bye.
it's getting close to 6:30. I want to try to keep it within an hour and a half. Did was there something you guys specifically want to cover? Mike, Mo, LD?
I mean, that really just made me realize that my garden game really needs to be stepped up. I've been focusing more on the faucet and the animal farm, but I only have like 200,000 plants. So I think I need to.
Interesting. Interesting. You're right, Mike. I thought you would have had maybe a bit more than 200,000. Yeah. You could probably spend $5 and get 200,000 plants.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I don't doubt that.
Holy
I have
crap.
1 million plants and it's worth like $40.
There we go. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Mo, how much did we pay? How much did we say again? Plants were like over $5. I felt like I
I
paid
paid
like
$5
$20.
for each one.
No, when I first got in, it was something ridiculous. Like, wait, can I actually pull it up? I think I have it saved here somewhere.
Yeah, I feel like
I
mine was like over $20 or something
wow,
per
like
plant. It
for
was
me, yeah, like me too. Like when I first got in, it was way more expensive.
mm-hmm.
The when I first got in, oh, oops, here it is. I first got in January 27th. The price of the LP was $44.
$44.
$44. So that was like
$44.
you know what's funny though? You want to laugh? I got in, it was $44. The next day it dropped to 43, and then the following week it was at 39. And me, I was freaking out. All right? By the end of the following month it was at 35, and I haven't seen any positive activity up until like where was it? I think during the summer is when I started seeing more people getting back into the contract,
Yeah.
and towards July is when I started seeing some upwards momentum, and
Yeah.
now I'm making around 2 LPs per day. I'm
Yeah.
not making a lot of LPs per day. I have like 4.5 million plants.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you start at $44 per LP and now it's $4 per LP, like you're kind of freaking out.
Yeah, it's a big difference, man. It really is a big difference.
Yeah,
And to
but
your
I mean,
point, yeah, it's hard to explain to somebody who just saw
yeah,
their portfolio go down by like 90%. You know,
100%. And just
Yeah.
like you said at the beginning, um, oh, I forgot my thought. Never mind. I forgot my thought.
no
This is
worries.
why I don't talk about it on the channel as well, because it's one of those things that people get in and then they're like, wait a second, why
All
is
right.
my money going down and it doesn't stop going down? So it's one of those things that I try to avoid as much as I can, just because of the, it's complex and,
So
you
are
know,
we ending the
it's,
live right now or what? The spaces?
No, we're still good. Can you hear us okay? Well,
Now I can hear you.
okay. Yeah, we're good. LD was going on and he was explaining why he doesn't necessarily cover the garden on his
yeah.
channel. Yeah.
Yeah, just because of the, like,
Oh, okay.
I
Sorry,
used
I can't
to.
hear that now.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like cutting me off. No!
I think sounds like he's on a bit of a lag, maybe. Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't really cover it, because it's one of those things. People, they come in, they expect 3.33%. That they expect it, and then trying to explain the decay and everything, and it's like, well, yeah, it'll do really well if drip's doing well, but if it's not doing well, then it's not doing well even more. Then
Exactly.
yeah. So it's one of those things that I try not to really talk about it, but yeah, I'm a big faucet guy. I've got a decent position in the pig pen as well, and that's kind of what I'm doing.
Well, let's do this because it's getting close to 6:30. How about we stay there for one moment and talk about, hey, if somebody was relatively new to the ecosystem and we want them to get started, like where would we ask them to get started with all of the new information coming out now?
Well, the
Where
first
would
thing I would
you
ask
take
them,
like
what's their
$1,000?
risk?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
The
Let's go
risk.
through your process. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'd say what's your risk level, and depending on what they say, then I would say okay, well you can go super super, what's the like risk off, and you could put it into BUSD, and you could put it into the pool. You could sit there and earn your, I think it's 160%. I think it might have gone down now. It's been a while since I looked at it. It might be 116,
Which
but
pool, LD? The Drip BUSD or
just the
something?
BUSD pool by
Oh,
itself.
just the BUSD pool. Yeah, it's in the
Yeah,
hundreds for sure. Okay.
that's what I would say. And then if they want to go, if they are like okay with a little bit of risk, I would say get into the faucet. Get your faucet, because it's one of those things like people keep saying like, oh, the drip price, it just doesn't stop but going down. But it's like, if you continue to DCA and compound, like, even though the price of drip when I first got in, it was $120 a drip. Even though I think the total that I put in is 3,400 now, and even though the price of drip is sitting at like $1.50, my faucet is still worth, I think 3,200, right? So I'm down
Mm-hmm.
$200, but that has nothing to do with it because I can literally claim 1% a day for the next 365 days, and it'll be way more than 3,400. So it's all about the way you look at it, and this is why DCing is important, like you say, to get the overall price of your drip down.
Yeah, because think about the math there. Drip is down over 90%, and your portfolio is only down $200.
Yep.
There's nothing but upside from there.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, nothing but upside from there. Okay, got it. So Mo, Mo flipped off. Yeah, he's a listener now. I think he's probably working on his technology. Mike, are you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Mike, let's kind of wrap up with that one too. Okay, yeah, I thought Mo. So the question was, someone relatively new, since we walked Susie G through her scenario, and she kind of went heavy into the garden, and it's different for everybody, right? So if someone was relatively new to the ecosystem, where would you ask them to start?
Yeah, I mean, I still think that faucet is still a good foundation just because of its simplicity. If someone's brand new into crypto, you don't want to overwhelm them with too many game theories, too much decay, too much money losing when they don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's okay if a value would go down, but if you understand why it's going down, that's okay. But if you don't understand it and there's just too much game theory involved, then that's what kind of starts to really throw people off. So I
Yeah.
think having a good faucet is definitely the number one. But then I would highly recommend the pig pen. If let's say you split that $500 into the faucet, the other $500 into the pig pen, I think you're pretty golden right there because
Yeah.
you're starting to get that BUSD. And since you have a faucet, you don't even need drip liberation because you've got that BUSD coming out of the pig pen. And within about a month or two, you can claim a few days of your drip, and then you can claim your BUSD, and you can make
Oh yeah.
and then with those LPs, then that gives you access to everything else in the farm. Then you can start getting into that drip BUSD to farm dogs, and how that story goes. But I think that the faucet and the pig pen are like the stables and the staples right now that are really, really good to get into, because even though pigs isn't necessarily that cheap at 100 and 120, $130 a pop, it is cheap in relative to where we see this pig's price being in a
Yeah.
year. This is $100 token, just right off the bat. I think easily within this 365-day period, it's going to be reaching $500, or at least, above 300, 350.
Got it. No, I love that, Mike. Yeah, both you and LD, different strategies, but they're both right. I love it. Mo, you still there?
Yes, man, I'm here.
Excellent. Hey, did you want to chime in on that one at all?
Yeah, I mean, if I would start at $1,000, or whoever would invest would start at $1,000, I would probably recommend to go to the faucet first, just because I feel like it's a bit more stable and it's a bit more predictable. Whereas if I were to go into the pig pen, it really depends on different injections and whatnot. So for me, it's not 100% clear, so I wouldn't recommend it to anybody investing right now. I have a bit more experience in the in the faucet, so
Yeah.
I'm more willing to guide them or help them, or just help them overall with the faucet because I have a bit more knowledge there.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we would do, for example, the faucet and the 26-4 strategy, then we would be able to slowly be able to build up our position in the animal farm, and then
Yeah.
from there you would be able to eventually get into the pig pen. So for me, the priority would be the faucet. Once you get that to a big position, then you can slowly get into the animal farm. I feel like the animal farm would be more of a slow play,
Yeah.
slow play.
What if they wanted completely risk off, Mo?
Sorry.
What if they wanted like the ultimate low risk?
Oh yeah, ultimate low risk. Then you right away go to either you go to the BST farm and the animal farm. Then you just generate some beautiful passive. I think 128
Yeah.
APR on your
Yep.
BUSD, which is beautiful. Or if you want a little bit of risk, then you would pair that with Cake or pair that with any other altcoin, and with your BUSD or with your USDT, then you would have a relatively more stable outcome in your dogs. Um, I just feel like if you want stable, just go with stable coin on the animal farm. Then you would earn a stable outcome there.
Yeah.
Boom.
I like that. And
Boom.
LD, I didn't even think about that one too, because I mean, that BUSD is essentially a savings account in DeFi.
100%.
100%.
And this is what people need to understand. It's like when someone comes out to me and they say, LD, I want something completely risk off, something that I would recommend to my grandma, for example, who doesn't
Yeah.
even necessarily need to go in and do anything, is the BUSD, because she's going to earn, 116% or whatever it is APR, and without doing anything, So
Yeah.
it just get your money out of the bank, because you're not doing yourself a favor having your money in the bank when you can put it in the pool and you can get it out even if something happens to the animal farm.
Yeah. Totally. And here's the other thing too. The math is very easy to calculate.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The math is very simple to calculate. You don't have to rely on price volatility or something being paired with something else. Whatever the APR is, you should be able to divide that by 365 days and make certain that that's what you're earning per day. The math is simple, and everyone's used to that with the savings account. No, so that's a good idea. So I'm actually going to add that because I didn't even consider that. And the other piece that I was going to factor in, so mine will be a third and a third. So I like the BUSD idea. The faucet, clearly, because that one in my mind has the most upside with the very lowest cost of entry. And then the pig pen, because I think about the pig pen very similar to the BUSD. Your yield just earns a little bit slower, but it's the same thing. You kind of buy a certain number of pigs, you stake those pigs, and you earn a yield also in BUSD. So I like those three as an option. So I want people to be a little more diversified. So I guess my risk is very low to moderate to maybe a bit more higher. So I would say the BUSD is the lowest risk. Then I would say the pig pen is probably moderate risk. And then I would say the faucet is maybe a little higher. Yeah.
Good strategy.
Yeah. Well, good stuff, guys. I mean, that's how you wrap it up with the strategy. People can go with, like, they can take that home and execute and actually have conversations with people. Think about that, right? Like these tough conversations that people are having, now they've got a story to tell, and then they can kind of back it up with logic. And here's the other thing, like I'm going to leave you guys with this one. This is crazy. I don't know who it was. I think it was you, LD. You asked this on a Mega Live. And the question was, people kind of consider us a cult. And you said, I don't think we're that. We're more like a team. And Mo, I think you said, well, we're probably more like a corporation. And I was like, you know what? At the time, I didn't quite have an answer because it didn't come to me fast enough. This one's going to be out of left field, but hear me out. I think sometimes we function like a church, right? Think about what I'm about to say here. We function like a church, meaning we've got this amazing pastor that's sharing all of the gospel with us. right? So we're sitting in the pews and he's just hitting us with all of this good news. And we're talking to each other all the time, right? And then when we leave the church and we want to have small groups, we're still talking to each other. That's not the point of the good news. The point of the good news is to share the gospel with everyone outside of the church, right? So by us having these types of conversations, we're actually providing the information that people can use to have like really intelligent conversations with future investors, right? That's how we really begin to scale Drip and bring in new retail investors. It's not constantly talking to each other. It's getting the information from each other and then spreading the gospel. That's what we need to
Love
do
it.
more of.
Love it.
Cool. I went all religious on you and stuff. We were talking about money and I went to church. It was just a metaphor. That's all it was.
Church, Forex is our pastor and also our
Yes.
one.
Yes. Yes. Well, look, guys, I love it. I think that's it. I appreciate everybody chiming in. As always, great insight, valuable information that you can use and actually start implementing tomorrow. So look, every Wednesday, let people know that we're having these Twitter spaces and these real conversations about strategy, insight, and just catching up with everyone and just learning to trust each other as a community. So with that said, I wish everybody peace and prosperity. Until then, I want you guys to stay hydrated. We are out.
See you guys.
All
See
right.
you
on the Mega Live. Hey, Susie, Todd, Mike, Trap, Wes,
Bye.
Lavelle, Jake, Safe. Who else we got on here before they get off? 21 Electrician. Thank you, guys. Be safe, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Susie.
Have a great
Thank
night.
you.
All right, everybody. All right, Todd, we'll see you, brother.
All right.
E-Money, I saw you on there. Who's this one?
I'll see you on Saturday.
Right on, brother. Mega Live.
Whoop, whoop.
Let's go.